2, 1. Now it's recording. Now it's going on. But there's only one problem here, Jock.
What's that?
I had to get my notes together for you because you have such a long history, and there's a couple of things I want to ask you about, and we'll get to know each other. We'll get to understand each other, and we'll get to love each other.
So, get your notes together. I may go get a drink. We'll start in 5 or 10 minutes.
Get yourself comfortable.
Get your notes.
I got my notes here. I'm going to test you on how well you know yourself, and maybe we even might know the same people. Do you feel comfortable here? How are you feeling? Because we both felt out of our element. Now here's the part that you're not seeing, but if you become a member today, join for $9.99 per month. You can see VIP all access unedited clips. Now back to our episode.
Up my view a little bit.
Okay, just make sure you look good. Go get yourself a drink. I'm all ready whenever you are. Go get yourself a drink. Make yourself comfortable. And
okay, I'll be back in a few seconds.
Okay, no worries. Light here for me. Make sure I'm not too bright. Do I look like I have a sun? You're an artist on record, your ultimate intimate conversation in the hot seat. We have a great guest. You remember songs like You Are the Woman, Just Remember I Love You. I have Jock Bartley from Firefall. He has a new album out, and we're going to talk about it. It all starts now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Jock Bartley right here, the original, the one and only from Firefall, but his history goes back even way before that. We're going to dig deep in with him, but he has new music coming out soon. We'll put links down below. I want you guys all to go in our description. Please click on it. It's friends and family. You got music from all the his friends that he's paying tribute to, from the Doobie Brothers, Dan Fogelberg, Hart, Marshall Tucker Band, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Birds, Flying Burrito Brothers, Graham Parsons, Spirit, Fleetwood Mac. You have it all right here, and it's great to have you. Had to bust your chops a little bit. I'm from Brooklyn.
That's good. Hey, you're a Brooklyn guy from LA. There you go.
I'm prepared. Boom. There you go. See, wow. I got it.
It gets released September 20th. Our first single, the Lynyrd Skynyrd song, "A Simple Man," is out now.
Touching song. And you guys did it very well, I might say.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
The story on this Friends and Family album is really pretty amazing to me. Our manager, Lynn Fico, is also our record label with Sunset Boulevard Records. And he called me about a year and a half ago and said, Jock, the original members of Firefall played in a lot of other famous bands like the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Spirit, Hart, Dan Fogelberg, in my case, Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris. Why don't you do an album of just their songs? And boy, the light bulb went on in my head. I said, Lynn, that's a great idea. But you know what? Let's expand that a little bit. Because when our first album came out in 1976 and got such big attention, we went on the road and got to be friends with a lot of the top bands of the day, including Fleetwood Mac, Loggins and Messina, the band with Levon Helm and Robbie Robertson and Lynyrd Skynyrd before the plane crash and Marshall Tucker. And I said, how about we do a song by those bands too? And he said, great. And so when the album was starting to be put together, we had to pick what songs to play because you had to be careful, picking songs. Like, for instance, Lynn said when he found out we played with the band a lot on their last tour, he said, oh, great, you can do Up on Cripple Creek. And I went, no friggin' way. It's like Levon Helm.
Sacrilegious.
Yeah, really. Levon Helm is really about the only guy that should ever sing that song. So I had to pick the material carefully. A lot of them were easy, like Angry Eyes by Loggins and Messina. Man. Shoot at me with those angry eyes. And, it was really great. But then, for instance, on the Heart song, which this album was really a lot about Mark Andes, the original Firefall bass player from Spirit and JoJo Gunn and Firefall and Dan Fogelberg and Hart. He was in Hart, he got tired of touring and he retired about 2 months before we were starting this record. And I went, yeah, God, who are we going to get? And our new bass player, lead singer, John Basaha, an LA boy who's also in the band The Babies, is a fantastic singer. Unbelievable singer. And when we were trying to figure out what heart song to play, because, the Wilson sisters, they're women singing all those songs. And John said to me, I could sing the crap out of What About Love? And I went, oh, okay. So that's how we picked What About Love.
You come from an era when music was music. I just got to say it to you.
Yeah.
It's not the same anymore. You come from the generation when we used to look at an album and stare at it and get lost, read the credits, and just enjoy the music.
Right.
Especially in the 70s. The 70s, you're the woman, just remember I love you. All these great songs. They were just remember I love you. All these great songs. They were the perfect songs for relationships, for breakups, for makeups, for anything you wanted. You were the music, and your guitar playing was great. But I remember reading the credits, and now I'm going deep, and I always loved one of my favorite records, and some people won't give it, everybody they go to the Beatles, but I had a favorite album in the late 70s was Andy Gibb's Shadow Dancing.
Oh, wow.
And you are on the guitar, especially this one song I love called Why. How did you hook up anyway with the Gibb brothers and get on that album?
Well, that's an easy answer. Firefall recorded our first 3 albums at Criteria Studios in Miami.
Yeah.
And the Bee Gees were there, recording Stephen Stills, Eric Clapton, Dave Mason, all those people. And our original engineer at Criteria was Carl Richardson, who became one of the producers for not only the Bee Gees, but for Andy Gibb's record. And he asked me one time at Criteria, hey, do you want to come in tomorrow and maybe try a song or two on Andy Gibb's record? And I said, sure. I never met Andy. I met Barry a couple of times there. But I went in and I played on 2 songs. They ended up using me on one song, Why. And, I got a platinum record of Andy Gibb's record on my wall for having played about 12 measures on the song.
You recorded the session. Who was the band with you guys in it? Did you just do your track?
There wasn't a band. I was just overdubbing lead guitar.
Oh, okay. So you just went in there.
So I went in there. Now, I had met, like I said, Barry Gibb a couple of times in the, walking around the halls of Criteria Studios. But pretty much it was just Albie Galutin and Carl Richardson in the control room and me playing guitar. And they said, well, why don't you try it this way or about it, and they used 16 measures of me. So it's like, great. I had a great Criteria story for you. So on our first record, the song that I knew that I was going to be able to really burn on as a lead guitar player was Rick Roberts' Mexico. And, and I had played that song for about 1.5 years live and just was rocking on Mexico. And when it came time to record that at Criteria, like I said earlier, the Bee Gees were there. Stephen Stills was there. You'd see Dave Mason walking around. The control room was really busy and I was warming up my amp. Now, the thing is the day before I went to do the solo on Mexico, we had a mariachi horn section come in and go da-da-da-da-da in the middle of my solo. So I'd never really played with the horns before. So the producer pushed the button and said, you ready to go? And I went, yeah. People, like I said, were in and out of the control room. And I was out there. So the song started. One of the things that I think do best as a guitar player is answer back vocal passages of the singer. The singer will sing a line and I'll just play very spontaneously and answer back or something similar to that, which is what I did in Mexico. And so it's going really good. And then it comes time for my solo and I'm playing the solo in the back of my mind. I'm going, where in the heck are these horn sections coming in? And all of a sudden, there they are. So I stopped playing, and they played, and then I played, and then they played, and then I played, and I finished the song off. And it ended up being a one-take performance. And the producer, when it was over, said, "God, that's great. Come on in." And I said, I had no idea where the horns were or what I was going to play. Let me see if I can beat that section. Keep what I did on tape, but let me see if I can just beat that little section with the horns. And the producer, Jim Mason, said, "No." And I went, "No, come on. Let me see if I can beat that. And if I don't, then you keep the original." And he said, "No, come on in." I went, "Okay." So I take my guitar off. I'm a little ticked off. I walk in the control room, and the first person I see is my guitar hero, Eric Clapton, who's been watching me play.
Wow.
And I went, "Mama." I turned it in Jackie Gleason, and he stood up and shook my hand and said, "Keen playing, man," and left. It's the only time I ever met Eric Clapton. But the thing is, the end of this story is, it's a good thing I didn't know he was in there before I played that one-take performance, because I wouldn't have been able to play anything.
That was Jock from Firefall. And if you want to check out his record, Friends and Family, links are down below. Make sure you click on that. And also, if you want to catch some more episodes of this interview, click on the box that pops up over there. I'm choking on a lollipop. Excuse me. But hey, it's only rock and roll, and we like it. Until then, everybody, remember, who loves you, baby? We do. I'll catch you all later. If you enjoyed this episode, you can catch this in our members only club right here on YouTube, or become a Patreon. Remember, who loves you, baby? We do. Don't forget to comment down below and subscribe. We'll see you all later.